Episode 10 ended with a lesson that didn't go away just because the job title changed. This is where that lesson finally started to crack. I had been slaving away in that hotel kitchen as a dishwasher for about 18 months, full-time in summer, part-time after school. My pay had crept from 80 cents an hour to 90. In that time, I watched a steady parade of kitchen staff come and go. Nobody seemed to stay long. My father always told me never to quit a job unless you had a better one lined up. Advice from a career military man who was a functioning alcoholic and gambler and who, as far as I knew, had never changed jobs in his life. He came home from Vietnam during my middle school years. My brother and I were thrilled. It had been over a year since he'd been deployed, and we hoped he'd be just as happy to see us. My mother was visibly less enthusiastic. Looking back, I think she'd already decided in her mind that this reunion wasn't going to last. While he was gone, she'd built real independence, a promotion at work, the bills finally caught up. The marriage wasn't long for this world after that. That's a story for another episode. The hotel kitchen gave me steady income, and I used it to buy my own clothes and build up savings. I'm ashamed to say I never offered my mother any of it. Dad had taught me how to be selfish, how to live entirely in my own skin. I did, at least, buy gifts for Mom and my brother on birthdays and holidays. I've never once forgotten Mother's Day or her birthday. She's 93 now. I was never late, never called in sick, unlike most of my co-workers, and I started getting trusted with more. The dishwashing station had become my refuge, and I took quiet pride in keeping it clean and orderly. Then, a few months before my 15th birthday, the restaurant manager called me in. I was being promoted to busboy, working alongside the waitstaff. That meant being visible to the public for the first time, which made me uneasy for reasons I couldn't quite name. But it was a promotion, and my wage jumped to $1.12 an hour. Brilliant. There was another busboy working the same shifts. Mornings and lunches were a blur. There's a whole system to it, stacking plates, glasses, silverware, and trash into those ugly grey tubs, hauling them off to the dishwasher, grabbing a clean tub, and racing back out to clear the next table. There's even a term for it, turning over a table. I'd been replaced at the sink by an older man who was slower and didn't seem to care much. Not my problem anymore. When I started bussing, I didn't know anything about tips. Diners would leave coins and the occasional bill on the table before heading to pay. The first time I saw money left behind, I told my waitress about it. Being helpful, I thought. She leaned down until her face was an inch from mine and told me in no uncertain terms that any money left on a table was her money, and I was to leave it alone. Period. I had no idea why she was making such a big deal of it. I had my raise. I was fine. Then one day, on break, the other busboy casually asked how much I'd been getting from my waitress. Getting what? He laughed. Turns out she'd been stiffing me from day one. Tips were supposed to be shared with the busboys for clearing tables fast and resetting them for the next customers. The faster I worked, the more tables she could turn, the more she made. My effort was making her money, and she was keeping all of it. So I started keeping track, to the cent. If she made $20 in tips, my share was $4. The restaurant manager and I got along well. He had sons of his own and treated me better than my own father ever had. He told me to come to him with any problems. I asked her for my share before the end of the shift. She tried to brush me off again. I just looked at her, no expression, and asked if she'd like to come with me to the manager's office. She rolled her eyes and handed it over. No office visit needed. That was my first real lesson in deceit and in office politics, and it didn't end there. I noticed that if I dragged my feet while looking busy, tables backed up, fewer customers got seated, and her tips dropped. She never lifted a finger to help me catch up. Sweet as honey to the guests, miserable to everyone else. So I told her I wanted 25% now, since her refusal to help was slowing me down, and I was the one picking up the slack. She threatened to go to the manager. "Let's go together," I said. She backed down again. Later I heard she was barely tolerated by management anyway. Whispers about drinking followed her around. She didn't last much longer. Her replacement was warm, motherly, and generous with her tips. We never had a single problem. I learned a lot in that kitchen and that dining room. About fairness, about leverage, about people who smile at you while taking from you. I was getting bolder, in mind and in spirit. And for the first time, my patience with my father was starting to wear thin.